for today's live, we're literally just doing a countdown right to July 4th. I'm super excited. Immediate emergency. If you have not checked your propane tank, get out there now and go to Quick Trip or wherever and buy a second one, especially if your partner is asking you to make amazing fish, bison steaks, or something else. You do not want a party foul of all of a sudden running out of gas. If you feel like you've been running out of gas this year and you want to just take the summer off, it's almost as if your CRM probably wants to take a summer off. We'll talk today about why to delete your CRM and how that's going to boost your close rate. Just a little bit about who I am, and then the rest of the team will jump in. And I'll actually say tribe because we've been working together as a close tribe for the last 2 years as it relates to Dax and I, and Sergio and I have been working together for like 9 months. So excited. This is a little bit of a background. It's almost like a trivia quiz for me. You guys seeing this?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so my story kind of begins in 1980. My first job, I was a strawberry picker. My dad said to me, Mark, if you want to go to college, you're going to pay for it. I was like, all right, so this is me doing my paper route. And along the way, in the 2000 dot-com era, I had an introduction and basically an invite from Mr. Jeff Bezos to meet with him. I went all the way to his company, and he didn't show up to dinner. And we'll get into why that happened a little bit later. I launched a medical device here in 2010. It helps GI doctors and pulmonologists get rid of cancer they can't even see that's there. At the dawn of this new AI era, which honestly began in 1937 anyway, when we go back to Claude Shannon and all those folks, this has been around for a long time. And we're going to talk about how to use AI in a relevant way to create real sales and marketing trust rather than distrust. Up on the right, this is me in Las Vegas doing a talk on AI for human relevance and intelligence. 33% of the audience converted and jumped into my sales funnel. And the folks on the back end thought HubSpot blew up. And that one talk was like a Russell Brunson talk, which it was 1.67 million in SQLs. And the sales team said, Mark, don't get on stage for a while. We have to hire one other rep just to get into this entire database of people. So these days I'm thinking about how to apply human trust, anthropology, archaeology, and we'll talk about this new formula that I put together a little bit later. So enough about me. I'm going to shut this off and go right back. Dax, why don't you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. A lot of you might know me, and for those who don't, my name is Dakshish Patil, and I'm the founder of The Console. I will quickly give you a walkthrough of what my life has been, and yeah, let me just present. So, ever since I was in school, I used to be the mischievous kid. I used to be the one breaking all the rules, trying to find which ones I could benefit off of. And I used to do little things, whether it was selling limited edition baseball cards or something else to my kids, but I enjoyed that. When I was studying, I was also passionate about skating, as many of you call it rollerblading, and I ended up being selected for the school team. I pursued this hobby for almost 7, 8 years, and I was also lucky enough to be able to participate in a state level competition and win the gold. So that was one of my peak time. When I was graduating high school, it was an era of confusion. I was like, hey, wait a minute, what am I doing? What do I really want? And out of nowhere, within some time, things slowed down, figured out, and the pandemic hit. The pandemic was an insane boost for me. I had so much free time and I did not know what to do with it that I just started picking one book after the other. And when I did that, I ended up reading 52 books in that year. During the start of that year, I had made up this resolution that, oh, I will be an avid reader and I will do the 52 books. But somewhere around March, I had lost track of that. And the pandemic just gave me a full new circle and a full new energy to restart on that goal. I then came to the US, did my master's from Babson, specialized in entrepreneurial leadership because that's what I love. I love building businesses, helping businesses scale. And with that intention in mind, I registered my own company called The Console. And now I'm currently interested in helping and educating as many business owners as I can about the importance of doing marketing the right way, ethically, and in a way that builds trust. So, yeah, that's a bit about me.
That's sweet. First, I just want to ask Mark, just out of curiosity, you gave Dax and I three options, A, B, or C, and you went with the option that neither of us suggested. Why is that? With the glasses?
Oh my gosh. Well, uh, the option A was this one, and option B was obviously that one. And then for summertime mode, this is option C. And I
I
realized
love that.
that this is the mode that most salespeople are in, and they're like, "Man, check out my slides, check out my demo. This is awesome, and I'll give you 3 minutes at the end because I'm so cool, and then I'm going to give you a price. If you don't buy it today, that 20% discount goes away. It's end of the quarter. It makes the real sales rep feel too pushy. So today, this is me checking out you guys and doing full focus on you. These are my
Love it.
full focus glasses.
Love it. Okay. Well, jumping into a little bit about me. My name is Sergio Nelatone. I'm the founder of Deep Blue Media, a social media marketing agency where we help business owners grow and sell online through marketing. Uh, I like to call myself basically the Robin of people's teams. I'm not here to, sell a one package service. I'm here to get deep into the nitty gritty of what's going on, figure out exactly where we want to be and why, and get us there, figure it out. I don't have all the answers. I don't claim that I have a solution that fits everyone. I'm just here to figure shit out because the game is changing all the time, and we'll get into that a little bit later, and also on just future lives. So I was born in 2001. To what extent that information's important, I don't know. But I'm 25 years old. I grew up as a very introvert, insecure, kind of shy kid. I was a little bit heavier, and just never really felt super comfortable in my own skin. So with that, growing up, getting into my high school year and my adult life, I found it very hard to be on camera, very hard to riff and just kind of free flow, just say things that were kind of on the fly. I always needed structure and some sort of plan and model, and I needed to know exactly what was working, why it was working. So naturally, I'm someone who just studied people, paid attention. I'm the quietest person in the room, doing the most amount of observation. In 2018, I don't know what happened. I left it blank, so I'm going to skip past 2018. In 2020, I started my first business. I was 19 years old. It's founded a real estate a company where we picked up properties and furnished them for Airbnbs. It was very successful. I brought in really good money, especially for my just my first real kind of venture. And before that even happened, I just did a ton of studying and analysis of the market. So that was exciting. At the same time, you're only as good as the people that are around you. And at the time, I didn't have much guidance around just how money worked. So everything that was coming in was basically coming out. Big bucket, bunch of water coming in, but also big hole at the bottom. I didn't know what I was doing. I ended up being just in debt after that. It was very successful, but the landlords just tenants were complaining about random people showing up in their shared facility. This was in New York City, so I transitioned into basically I picked up a camera and I said, you know what, I've got to make money somehow. Let me just go knock on every business down the street. I did that, and it worked very well. And then I met somebody who was very influential in my life, who we then started a podcast with, somebody who's in addiction recovery, and who I looked up to and very much admired and just had a lot of appreciation for. 3-4 years later, I founded my own social media marketing agency because a lot of the guests that were coming on this podcast about addiction recovery were CEOs of major treatment centers, public speakers, book authors, coaches, etc., and they would often ask, "Can you help me with my stuff?" So I found Deep Blue Media through that kind of experience. And I met Mark recently, about 9 months ago or so, and now we're here on this live together, having some fun, trying to add as much value as we can.
Wow.
Does
Uh,
it say nothing on stage yet, or is that just me?
that is on all of our ends right now.
Okay, I
Yes.
don't know why it says that.
Oh, no worries. I can do a share on my end and show something.
Yeah.
So I talked a little bit about this thing called trust. If you remember, Einstein has this E equals MC squared. In sales and marketing today, it's not that. It's emotional intelligence equals me times curiosity times caring. So here's what I'll do. I'll break that down. Emotional trust is needed for your buyer to actually say, can you help me? Can you give me the place to pay the invoice? It's not about the proposal. Proposals are for marriage. And when somebody asks you for a proposal, they're really just saying, can we end the call? I propose you never talk to me again. I don't like you. Most of the time they're like, I'm not going to read that proposal. And I'm really not going to apologize for that hurting, because how much does it hurt when you get ghosted on a sales call? So me is them. They join the call for a certain reason. Have you ever joined a sales call just to kind of get bludgeoned and bloodied up? Maybe not. They're there to get help, not to be hurt. So most sales calls end up in a bloody mess. It feels like a disaster. So I've been thinking about this for the last 31 years subconsciously. How do I communicate with people depending on their personality? If you're a science person, okay, it's E equals MC squared. If you're a music person, it's a different formula. It's like, what are the notes that get someone to resonate? So curiosity and caring, just to finish out this, curiosity means you care about them being better, not your bank account getting bigger. And unless they see that you're curious about where they've been, how much they've lost or spent, and then where they want to go, they feel like you don't care. And then, Dax, how does it feel to you when somebody just doesn't care?
Oh, not good at all. Nobody likes it, right? If you're gonna push a bunch of things on me when you haven't even heard my story or made an attempt to make me feel curious or on my trust, it's a disaster. And just like you said, it's not just one piece that'll help you crack the deal or help you make your business grow. It's the combination of everything else put together. It's you, the curious nature, and if you're caring for it. And the best part about everything you said, Mark, is if you try to fake either of these, it's so evident to the prospect. And the second I can smell bullshit, I run away from it. So yeah, if somebody's saying, send me that proposal, I'll get back to you. Hey, he's never gonna get back to you, and you have just blown up that whole call. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
And just to add to that too, obviously we understand that there's this formula E equals MC squared that works. We also know that people can smell BS, but how do you even get yourself to authentically listen on the call and actually care? Personally, that's been one of my personal struggles. I tend to over prepare, and what I found is that the less preparing that I do personally, and the more that I'm just there with the person in the moment with them, paying attention to what they're saying, the better listening I can do, and the more intentional questions I can ask, which ultimately help them feel heard, seen, understood, and start to develop some trust. So, what, Mark, from your end, do you feel like are the practical things that people can do to just start doing better listening and get outside of their head and their slides and pitch?
The first thing is like your posture. If you're like all about, like, I can't wait to close this deal, they're going to be looking for the door. They feel this subconscious anxiety. Now, even if you're like, how excited are you to start a sales call until I get to your quota? Usually a rep's pretty excited about meeting somebody new, and they're like, oh my God, somebody actually showed on my call. They didn't ghost me. So all that energy comes out as excitement, anxiety, and desperation. So what happens if you meet someone on the street that you've never met that seems too anxious, too excited, how how do you feel, Sergio? If like literally Times Square, you and I were just there doing a shoot. What happens if somebody comes up to you like that?
Really excited. Yeah, I mean, I typically tend to turn away. I mean, it's just my knee gut jerk reaction because I feel like they're trying to get me to do something, and it might be something that I really need, but I just don't like people getting me to do something. That's like my instinct initially. What about you, Dax?
I mean, if somebody's bringing a product up to my face and going like, "Hey, you want to buy this? You want to buy this?" I would feel the same way like you did, Sergio, right? But if somebody is, I've just bumped into them and I'm sitting next to them in a park on a bench someplace else, and we're just chatting about some random things, and we end up bonding, and then we realize that, oh, you're a business owner. Oh, I can help you this way. He's like, oh yeah, this is more on my situation, and I'm like asking genuine questions and I'm caring, right? I was not in that park or in the bench with the agenda to sell. If I was, I would have blown that situation as well. But me not coming there with that mindset is what will actually open doors or will make me feel comfortable. And yeah, if anybody senses desperation and if you do more research or preparation and you come up with a whole agenda, you're most likely going to bring that energy of feeling anxious, feeling insecure, feeling energetic, feeling overwhelmed, and all of these things. And they're not a good deal when you are trying to grow a business or make a sale.
Yeah.
And it's yeah. Go ahead, Sergio.
No, I was just going to say we have about like 3 minutes here, so we'll wrap this up. Maybe each of us take a minute to just kind of at a high level share how trust is communicated through website, social media, then obviously Mark, how you work with clients. Dax, would you like to start?
Oh yeah, I don't mind going first. So I'll give a quick brief of a project that we did recently. There was a real estate company that had more than 9,000, 10,000 people in their CRM, or as you can call it, a dead RM, because they weren't getting any responses from there. They kept spamming emails, they kept requesting people to show up or take a particular action, and none of that was yielding into any tangible outcome, right? We took a quick look at their infrastructure and system and we realized that it was all a big mess. And when I say a big mess, I mean in terms of the technical settings and in terms of the content design and the way the messages were being sent out. And when both of them were mixed, it was like gasoline meets fire, right? It was just blowing up all the time. So we took a quick look at their website, at their DNS infrastructure, at their email systems, and then we were like, hey, we need to fix this. We got the technical things right and increased their delivery rate from 20% to a whooping 80%. We got rid of all the long email text and bodies that were just pitching themselves and their integrity and their past and everything, and we focused more on the people and what they wanted. That boosted their click to open ratio from a mere 3% to 20 to 60%. There were like some projects that did even better. And when I say this, when you think at the bare minimum, right, it went from 3% to 20%. They had about 50 to 70 people clicking on links in their emails and newsletters that they were sending. That number went up to 700 and 800. That's how important and impactful that was. But that
Whoa.
was just a high level gist, right? Yeah.
So if somebody is hearing all this and they're like, oh my God, okay, I kind of get what you're saying. It sounds like there's a lot of things to pay attention to. For the business owner who can just needs a quick win right now, what's the one thing they should be paying attention to, and why?
If I speak about, there are three things, but if I want to speak about only one thing, I would say about your website, right? Go on Google, go and open your website domain, search for this tool called Google Lighthouse, and I'll just pull it up so there's no confusion here. It's a Chrome extension that anybody can install, and this is what it looks like. But you want to do that and you want to see what your report looks like. Now, the same client that I'm talking about, this is what their website looked before we even started working with them. Their performance score was 27 out of 100. Google saw them as a website that was going to be used for scamming people or for phishing purposes. It took up to 25 seconds for one of the videos on their homepage to load. What does that mean? Nobody has 25 seconds. Your phone is being bombarded with shorts, reels, notifications, you name it, right? And nobody has time to spend on that. So we noticed and we first identified all the things that needed to be optimized, whether it was the 25-second load time, whether it was the fact that the performance was poor. And then we were like, let's look at it and start fresh. We built a brand new website and guess how quickly it loads in under 1 second. And we tested this across all the devices that we could. Every time the result was between 1 to 1.5 seconds.
Wow.
That one change has increased the website visitor engagement by 30%. So if they were getting 3 leads, now they will be getting 9 or maybe more.
I love that. Mark, one practical thing that people can start doing right now, they understand that there's this formula and, there's a lot of different components that go into sales, before, during, and after. But like, what's the one thing that they can really just do right now, today, that's going to make a real shift?
Can I say something really honest?
No, we don't do that on this show. I thought we talked about that before.
I dare the audience to shut off all their AI automations and do a week over week analysis. I will bet you that in the next 3 weeks, you're going to close more deals than you did in the last 3 weeks. Your automations, if they're written by AI, are decreasing the trust. So if you want to increase your close rate, shut it all down and reboot it. We just deleted a CRM that Dax just showed you the proof for. There's other things that you can do to really be more honest and authentic to your clients.
So that's the one thing. If people can do one
Yeah.
thing, okay, all right. The one
I'm
thing
curious, what would you say, Sergio? How would you take it from
Thank-
a social media angle?
Thank you for asking. I just, pick up the camera and start recording and posting stuff without worrying about the caption or the things that are on the cover photos, because the real value is just training the muscle in recording things on the fly and being in a state of flow, not overthinking things. Naturally, I'm such an analyst, or is it analyst or analyst? Analyst, excuse me. And and so I want to really study and get very I want to know the whole, what works, why it works, how it works, when it works, etc. And so it's a trap though, because you don't really know who you are online. You are you, but there's a different version of you online than there is in person, right? You meet someone in person, you shake their hands. They're not going to walk away. There's less room to kind of do things that are a little bit more acceptable online. Somebody might say, "I got to jump," when they really don't, or they might just shut off the camera or swipe on the reel. But so there's a different version of you that you have to learn. But at the core of it, it's getting comfortable with just posting stuff. So I would say, pick up the camera, record something. You don't have to post it, but just get comfortable with recording something every single day for 30 seconds. And by the end of a month, you should have more confidence around what you say, why you say it.
I love that from both of you. And one last thing that I want to share with everyone is essentially this premise that I went over today. And the premise is, you're showing up in a formula to your boss, and they're trying to decode you. Do I trust you? Do I not trust you? And in this era, there's more distrust than trust. So when you look back at your recordings, if you don't know where you lost trust, reach out, because we can show you exactly the moment. And it might be the moment that you were too excited and anxious about, so you missed it. And I guess the last thing that I would say is, have an amazing 4th and 250th. So is that 254th? I don't know. I was told there would be no math today. Thank you everyone for joining. Close with One is not about closing in one call. It's making sure you don't get ghosted and people want to meet with you again. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Docs and Sergio.
That's a wrap. Next time you guys see us, we'll be in superhero outfits. Look forward to that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, peace.